Hey student, watch this video and learn 3 speaking tips if you want to become a fluent English speaker faster this year. If you don't know me very well, hello, I'm teacher Prix and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Make sure to subscribe to my channel because every week I post different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. So consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. Now, we are going to be talking about 3 speaking tips if you want to be fluent faster. You know, I imagine you want to be fluent. Talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And here on my channel, you're watching this video, it's 100% in English. I focus on pre-intermediate and intermediate students. Basically, I help them go from stuck to speaking in 6 months, and it's completely possible at this level. And one important thing that happens here is students begin to worry about the quality of their speaking skills. This is the moment when they start to think, oh, okay, I gotta improve my speaking. I really gotta make a change because I'm not getting better. Nothing is happening and I need strategies. I need to make a change and I don't know exactly what it is that I need to change. So this is a tricky level. So this lesson is going to be really helpful for you if you are at this level or if you simply need ideas to help you improve your English speaking because I know how important that is. With my students in my academy, they follow my program, they follow my method, and there I'm always guiding them and providing them with ideas to help them establish a speaking routine so that they can work on their English speaking skills and not just on the speaking. If you want to become a fluent speaker, you need to work on vocabulary, you need to work on pronunciation, on intonation, on reading skills, on listening skills. So this is something that I'm always helping my students so that they can speak English more naturally, so that they can feel confident speaking in English to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But that being said, your first activity is to turn your grammar and vocabulary practice into a speaking exercise. And this is something that I'm always talking about with my students from the academy. In my academy, 3 times a month, I go live with my students. And there I'm always sharing, well, exclusive lessons that I don't share here on my social media, but also speaking exercises, vocabulary, and strategies to help them boost their English fluency. And this is something that I was doing with them, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly the date, but during this, as you can see, it's a screenshot of myself and my students. And during this group conversation class that I had with my BSA, I prepared a grammar and speaking exercise. So the focus was on grammar. I wanted to review an important grammar point, but they weren't supposed to write anything or check a lot of rules and explanations. No, I wanted to focus on a grammar point and connect the grammar point with English speaking. And we can do that with grammar. We can do that with reading, listening, writing, you name it. You can do that with all English skills. But this tip, let's focus on grammar and vocabulary. So this is something that I did with my students. Let me open something here one moment, please. So basically, I wanted to review with the babies. Let me explain into more details. I wanted to review asking questions, but I didn't want to go through, oh, okay, let's do this exercise where you complete the questions. No. So I asked them to do it orally. No time to think. Let's work on speaking. Because if you think about real life, what happens in real life? Do you have time to think? No. You have to just like Nike, just do it. And that's what I helped them practice during this class. So they had to ask questions in English and not just easy questions. Oh, who's your best friend? No, they had to ask interesting questions. I gave them a word. Okay, so every time a student raised their hand, I gave them a word and they had to create a question orally, no time to think, with the word I gave them. And after that, the next step was, okay, now we're going to work on speaking. You created the question, now you answer the question. And it was really productive because as they did that activity, I was able to provide feedback, important corrections, important ideas. And this is something that you can do from home. Well, you're not going to get my feedback and my ideas and strategies, but this is definitely an exercise that is going to help you improve your English speaking so that you can become fluent faster. And it was really fun because as the students participated, they were creating questions, different questions. They were working on grammar and English speaking. They were actively working on their speaking skills and grammar skills. They were not just receiving information, which happens a lot, okay? If you're here, you're watching my lesson on my YouTube channel, you're just receiving. We're not interacting, we're not doing anything. I'm not making you do anything. It's what you do with this lesson. So I'm going to follow this first recommendation, and then in your study time, you sit down, you get to work, and you follow the recommendation. Okay? And another important part here that was really interesting was that I helped my students understand and review important points when asking real-life questions. Because if you think about it, okay, I want to talk. Why do I want to speak English? Well, to pass a job interview, to get a better job, to communicate with people when traveling abroad, make friends, understand movies and conversations in general, and especially in situations of interaction, when you want to start a conversation with someone, you got to ask questions. So this is an amazing practice for you guys. Combine your grammar and vocabulary practice. I recommend you create questions as you're doing this kind of practice and focus on real-life questions and then answer them. So this is a wonderful thing that I did with my students. I often do this with my students in my academy, and this will help you remove the mentality of the book practice, because this is really common. And there are many websites where you can find exercises like this. Oh, complete the question. Yeah, but that's not you creating. You want to speak the real English, feel confident, talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. You got to start creating questions and practice answering them. So if you want to be fluent faster, you got to follow these tips and you got to subscribe to my channel, you know what I'm saying? Now, how do you do this, okay? Let's get down to business. How do you do this in your study routine? You're not in my academy. You're not a student from my academy. You don't participate in my lessons. You're just watching this video. Priscilla, what do I do? Let's go. Pick words you've been studying. So let's say this week you were studying vocabulary about health, okay? Or going to the doctor, or vocabulary about car parts. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. So let's say you were studying something really specific, like vocabulary related to your job or related to something you find interesting. As I was talking about on my Instagram, I've become really interested in tennis. I've started taking up lessons, and I'm really fond of tennis nowadays. So I am researching vocabulary. I'm watching videos about it. So what would I do if I were alone and I wanted to practice my English speaking, to be fluent faster, to improve my communication skills, to build up my vocabulary and my confidence? I would pick some words that I am working on, that I'm studying, or perhaps a grammar lesson. This week I was studying, well, yesterday I studied passive voice. So that's a grammar point. And then based on that grammar point or the vocabulary that I'm studying, I would create examples or create questions. Instead of doing the grammar book exercise, and don't get me wrong, I think it can be a wonderful tool to do grammar exercise. I'm not saying, oh, they're the devil, you know, no, I'm not saying that. Go for it, go nuts. What I'm just pointing out is that don't have this mentality that I'm just going to do this and it's going to solve all my problems. Fluent people create. Fluent people don't copy. Fluent people don't fill in the spaces. Does that happen in real world? You know, when you are in a conversation with someone, does the person give you a phrase and you have to complete the phrase with a missing word? That doesn't happen in real life. And the best way to imitate real life if you're alone, well, pick some words you're studying or a grammar point you're studying and get to work, create your questions and answer those questions, or create examples, create phrases connected with your life, okay? Tip number 2, pay attention to your study routine. Is your study routine more active or more passive? Do you integrate skills or do you simply study random words? It's important to organize your study routine and really follow a plan that integrates all these skills. These are valid questions. If you think about it right now, you are receiving information. And if you're just watching this video and not pretty much doing anything, you're not taking notes, you're not reviewing, well, once the video is over, of course, but you're not taking notes, you're not putting the lesson into practice, then you're just receiving information. And this is bad, okay? Of course, I am aware that there are moments when you just want to receive information, you don't really want to do anything with it. However, if you want to be fluent fast, and well, faster as the title of the video implies, well, do you want to be fluent faster? Then you need to analyze your study routine. Because if you're always receiving information and not doing anything about it, well, you will slow down. You will not achieve English fluency fast. And when I say fluency, I mean communication. I don't mean perfection. I don't mean 100% mastery, because even I, having studied English for many, many years, I'm still not there. I'm still on the journey, enjoying the process. So this is something you need to take into account, okay? So active. So you finish this lesson. Pick one tip. There are 3. Pick one tip. Act on it. Take consistent action, even if it's small. Even if you sit down and you work on this for 10 minutes, and you pick a word that you were studying yesterday, and you wrote it down on a piece of paper, and you didn't do anything about it. You just wrote down the explanation or the translation, even worse. So pick that word, write the explanation down, write the example, some kind of example connected with your life. Maybe write a question, and then answer the question. So this is a much better approach to the future of your English fluency, because that's what we're talking about at the end of the day. The future of your fluency depends entirely on the actions you take right now, in the present. And this is a mistake that students make. And it is connected to speaking, because if you want to speak at the end of the day, oh, but I don't have anyone. This is the #1 complaint I receive from you guys. Yeah, I understand your position, because this happened to me. I didn't have anyone for quite some time on my journey to talk to. And what did I do? Well, I found a workaround. These strategies that I'm sharing with you, I started using them when I was 15. And I had nobody to talk to me. Nobody. I didn't even have internet, guys. I didn't have internet connection. Don't worry, internet connection already existed in my country, in my city. My family and I didn't have it, okay? So do you have a routine that will challenge you? That is very, very important. If you don't have this, your English fluency will be stuck for quite some time. That being said, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, support the channel, maybe share this video with a friend. That's how you help the channel grow. And if you're interested, if you don't know how to organize your study routine and you need some kind of guidance, I have my study plan cycle. It's called 21-day study plan, because in 21 days, we reboot the way you study. And then I teach you how to continue studying with this cycle. I call it the study plan cycle, because you can repeat the cycle as many times as you want. And I teach you how to keep organizing the cycle, keep using the cycle strategies so that you have a better result, a more productive result. If you're interested, check out the link in the description of this video. But now, tip number 3, master explaining things in general. Yesterday, I was having a group, a live welcome with my new students from the academy. And then one student told me that, Priscilla, I made a presentation. She explained that she joined the academy because she wants to feel more confident making presentations in English. Wonderful. And then she explained that she's a PhD. I think she's a professor. And when she was making a presentation for her PhD, she told me that she was really confident doing that she felt amazing, but not the same after she was talking about her work later on, a few years later. And then when I asked her, well, but how much did you know about that subject? And then she smiled. Wow. She studied a lot. She read a lot. She listened a lot. She was really familiar with the subject. that will change it. That will change how you speak about something. The more you know about it, and because it was a PhD, well, she said, I asked her and she said yes, most of the material she read and she had contact with was in English. So that changes your ability to talk about something completely. And this is something that you need to think about to improve your English speaking faster whenever you're watching this video. And what do I mean by that? One important thing that I do with my students in my academy, and it's my main recommendation, and I have made videos here on my channel where I talk about this, is that you need to make room for explaining subjects. So for example, you see a picture here on the screen. This is the module 6 in my academy. And it's about making small talk, which is very important, okay? And what I do with my students is they have to read about something, they have to listen about something connected with the subject. And then they have to practice explaining. This is their solo practice. I don't correct that. It's their routine. It's a change they have to make to master their English speaking. And one thing that I like to say here on my channel, I always talk about that, is people who teach learn twice. So what do I mean by explaining things in general? Oh, okay, I read this book, The Miracle Equation. Wonderful book, by the way. I read this book. Can I talk about it? Oh, maybe not anymore. I read it 2 years ago. So can I read the chapter 1 and explain what I read in chapter 1? Oh, but Priscilla, it's too difficult. Practice. This takes time. You want to speak better? You want to be fluent faster? Become comfortable explaining things. And you can start small. This is a big step, okay? You can start small. You can watch a short video on YouTube, a Reels, or a YouTube Shorts, or a Reels on Instagram. And then you can just explain that video as much as possible. You can read the news, okay? You can read the news and then explain what you read. Guys, you want to speak faster. You gotta master this. I give some of these recommendations in my study plan cycle as well. So people who teach learn twice. This should be a priority in your study routine. Yesterday I was studying Italian. I did exactly this. I watched a video, I took notes. Today I'm gonna go back to the video. I'm going to study the video again because I have to work on vocabulary, I have to work on other skills. But as soon as I finished the video, I started explaining the video because I want to master my Italian speaking. And when I study English, I do the same thing. Yesterday, I also studied English. And I watched a video about the history of the city of London. It was a wonderful video. And then I learned a lot of new information that I didn't know. And what did I do? I practiced explaining the video. Master this and you will improve your English speaking dramatically. Other than that, how do you do this? How can you do this in real life if you're alone, not in my academy, not with my study plan cycle? Teacher, how do I do this? As I told you, pick a subject, a reading and a listening subject. Ideally, they should be the same. So every week you pick something to read and you pick something to watch or listen to. And they should be connected. They should be about the same thing. I read about London, about the city of London. Then I watched a video about London. So I connected the subject. And then I will follow reading recommendations that I have here on my channel, listening recommendations that I have here on my channel. Then the next thing you're going to do is, okay, I'm going to explain. I'm going to become the teacher. And don't worry, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, that is going to happen. But the more you do this, the more you feel comfortable with your English speaking, the more the words start to come to you. If you only write down, if you only listen, guys, nothing is going to change. So you want to master your English speaking, you want to speak faster, you got to follow these recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend, get my study plan cycle, but other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!